Hello everyone, welcome back to the Aura podcast. I'm here with Keyra Gallo, 4th year psychology student and women's basketball player. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm kind of stressed, exams, stuff like that. How about you?
Good. Did my last exam yesterday, so I'm done for the term.
You done all your exams?
Yep, all done. So wait till January to get back to it.
So you still practicing with the women's team or?
Yeah, we practice till the 14th, and then everyone goes home for about 2 weeks, 15th to the 28th-ish, see family, but we're here for a while, so.
So were you practicing during the exams as well?
Yeah, so we've been practicing all the way through the semester. Preseason started really early for us too, so we started preseason end of September, October-ish, and we've been playing till the end of November, practice all throughout December, go home for 2 weeks, and then we're back at it before the new year.
So it's been pretty stressful with practice and exams?
Yeah, it's busy, keeps everyone busy, lots of time management skills that people didn't realize they didn't have, so it's a big eye-opener for people.
So as a psychology student, and it is your 4th year, you have a thesis.
I do.
So well, for anyone that doesn't know, can you just explain what a thesis is?
Yeah, so basically a thesis is an area of research that you're interested in, and you put a lot of your own time into a new study that you want to look at, or you can replicate a study in the past, and you just get a supervisor in the department, do research, create your own experiment, and then you go through all the steps as if you're proposing and publishing. So you go through your experiment, you analyze. There's a presentation at the end of the term in April, and then you just go through the whole process, and then you do have the option to publish after. So to get into a master's degree or something, it's really helpful to publish, get your work known, and then pursue your research. So I started mine in September, and I'll be done in April. So
it's been pretty stressful throughout the year, you'd say?
Yeah, it's very busy. There's only classes once a week, but that 3 hours of class doesn't compare to the amount of hours you have to put in outside, so it's a lot of your own time, I find. It's totally different from studying and taking notes. It's a lot of coming up with your own concepts, which I find is a lot more work, especially on top of being an athlete, and I have a job with the university, so I work part-time, play basketball full-time, and go to school full-time.
So it's a lot on your plate for sure, because I've seen one of my teammates, Rafa, I seen him do his thesis, and I watched the whole thing. Let me tell you,
Me too.
It looked like it was a lot of work into it, and a lot of your own time, especially, which I don't think a lot of people see or can tell based off of that. Yeah. But coming into Algoma, why did you choose Algoma?
Well, I got my basketball opportunity here, so I'm from Thunder Bay. It's about 8 hours north, and I wanted to get away from home for a bit, experience something new, because I grew up there and never left. I got my basketball opportunity. It's a smaller school, so I thought I would get to know a lot more people and get closer with everyone. I never thought I would do a thesis until this year. I wasn't really planning on it. I really wanted to focus on other things and just have a good time, but I found that a thesis would help me in the future. It opened my eyes a lot, so moving away, kind of being a grown-up for once instead of living with your parents all the time. So I did that, and then my sister ended up coming with me, so I wasn't alone when I came here. I met a lot of friends, so I don't have any regrets coming here.
Obviously, because I was looking at it, Thunder Bay, small population, I think 100,000. Yeah. And then coming here to Sault Ste. Marie with 73,000. It's obviously smaller, but how come you never thought about going to a bigger city or a bigger university like Western, even Toronto or Hamilton or something like that?
I think the biggest thing was basketball drove me here. It was my favorite opportunity because I grew up playing, so I didn't really want to stop. I wasn't ready, but I find the Sault is very similar to Thunder Bay, so in my opinion, it wasn't a huge change.
So it was a bad transition.
I just felt like if I went to an even bigger school, the change there might have been a little overwhelming, so it was nice to kind of stay in the same kind of environment. And Thunder Bay's 16 hours from say Toronto. Yeah, that's pretty far from home for me. Far, yeah. So I'm only about 8 hours. I could drive home if I needed to. So
you say you're more of a small city type of person?
Yeah, I've never really experienced a big city.
Have you been to Toronto?
I've been for basketball. Okay. I've never really been able to go for the experience.
Not really.
Go downtown and that kind of stuff.
But not too big on the big city, I'd say. No, you like the small city?
I like the small. I like the community here. I find I'm not from here, but I know so many people.
That's true. I realized coming to Algoma, everyone knows everyone.
Yeah,
almost, which can be a bad or a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But moving on to that, like, why did you choose psychology?
So originally, I didn't want to be in psychology. I wanted to be in kinesiology, which isn't offered here, but it's offered in Thunder Bay. So that was one thing that wanted to keep me home, but I found psychology, there was other aspects that I was still interested in. Like, I just really wanted to focus on, like, the human body, and psychology was, like, one of the closer things here that I could do. I actually started at Algoma in biology. I did, like, a semester in biology. Not my favorite. It's a very, like, competitive and, like, higher program here. So it was very hard to balance with basketball and work. So I found psychology, the load wasn't as intense. You don't have as many labs and extra courses, but it was still very interesting. And the psychology courses here, we have a lot of great options. So you really get to pick and choose what you're interested in.
So you wouldn't say you regret going to psychology?
No, it was probably one of my better choices. Biology was tough. I know a lot of people like it. I wasn't interested in a lot of areas. A lot of the biology here is like plants and birds and animals, which is fine.
I've noticed that because I'm in the biology program and it's a lot of plants and birds so far. But that's what you're into.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what you. Do you have any plans like what you want to do with your psychology? Do you want to go to master's, go into the workforce straight away?
Yeah. So when I graduate in April, I'm planning on working for a year, just staying in the SU.
Are you gonna stay here?
Yeah, I'm going to stay in the community here. Probably work with the university still. Hopefully stay involved with like the basketball program for a year, and then I'm hoping to pursue a master's either in North Bay or Thunder Bay in kinesiology, so I can like transfer some skills into that field and pursue something I wanted to start. So I'm hoping to like stay here, do a master's, and then overall like end up in the SU still. I want to live here.
Really?
Yeah.
You would want to live, you want to end up living here.
Yeah.
How's the recruiting process like for people that don't know?
I don't know too many for other schools, but I know for here, it's very easygoing. A lot of the times, like, they ask you to come for a visit, so the coaches will go watch you play wherever you're from or in a tournament close by. I know I got recruited from being in a tournament, so I came here for a tournament, and I got recruited while I was here. One of my coaches is also from Thunder Bay, so she came to visit us, and then she said, why don't you come down for a real visit? My parents got to come, so it's really easygoing. Come to a game, do a workout with the coach maybe, if you have time, go for dinner, get to know everybody, meet some players and stuff, and then you don't talk a lot of business on your recruitment trip. It's basically like, what are your thoughts as a player? And then you can kind of like dig a little deeper as time goes on, stay in touch with coaches, get to know some players that you could possibly be playing with. But I loved my recruitment experience here. I had a couple other ones, but this one was by far like the easiest. They showed us the city. Like, I didn't even know if I was going to go here. And they're like, well, let's check out the city. Why not? So I was like, okay. And you get to know the environment before you even live here, which was nice.
That's nice. And so coming to your first season, like, how did that feel? Like, was there a lot of anxiety, pressure?
I was scared.
You were scared?
I was scared. Just, it's hard to be at the top in high school because most people, when they get recruited, you're in grade 12, you're a starting player, I'm sure you know, like, you're one of the best on your team, and then you come in and you are back at the first year, there are players above you, you can't expect a whole lot, but you can work hard. So that's what you kind of have to do. I was, like, really nervous because as a rookie, you don't want to jeopardize anything. But then, like, as time goes on, you realize, like, the only way you're going to get better is taking risks, putting stuff on the line, and like moving forward, and you can't really be scared. So I found out it was hard for me my first year, and as my second year on, I was like, well, there's nothing to be scared of. Everyone's gonna mess up at some point, and you just really have to prove yourself when you get here.
Obviously, you came with your sister too, so I feel like that probably made it a bit easier. Would you say? So
much easier, and I also met my best friend here. She same position as me and my sister as well. Like, we came in from high school, worked super hard. We were all like grade 12s graduating, new city, we all moved away from home, and then we became best friends. She also played on the team with us, so it was really nice to like have someone else in the same position as you. Let
me tell you, when I came, because I came by myself, and it was, didn't know too much people, it took a while, but I mean, that's nice that you had like someone to come with you and experience the same thing like as you. But to be fair, all the first years are in the same boat.
Exactly. You have some people to relate to. It's really easy to make friends when you're part of a team. I find like your teammates are your first friends here, and then you can branch out after. But like I was friends with people that were 4 or 5 years older than me because they're on my team. So it's nice to like almost have like role models and mentors as soon as you get here.
You think that basketball, like so far, this basketball experience has been one of the best things like that you've experienced at this university?
Yeah, definitely something I wouldn't take back. Had a lot of like ups and downs, I would say, as any athlete would. Like get injured, you travel, you don't get things that you were wanting to get, or you're missing out on stuff. Like I know basketball, I travel quite a bit, so like you do get to miss out on the first year experience in the sense where it's like frosh week and you get to know people. Like we miss that because we train, which is that's what you sign up for.
I feel like a lot of people don't see that with some student athletes. Like I know my friends were telling me back home, oh, come to frosh week, come to this and that, and it's like, brother, I'm training for opening season, and you do miss a lot of things that, you know, inside you kind of regret, but it kind of pays off. Because especially coming here, I realized, I don't know about you, but I realized coming here, you kind of mature a lot faster.
For sure.
In terms of like, if you're going to a big university, I feel like here, like you mature a lot faster.
Yeah, and I know it's like a small university. Some programs here are very developmental. I know the basketball program has been developmental for a while, but that's where you learn the most. And a lot of people, when they graduate, you might still have a year or two of eligibility with like injuries or how many years you stay. You can move on and like put all that skill work you've done into like another program too. So I feel like Algoma is good for that. For sure.
So would you say, so your first year, you guys went to Portugal?
We did, actually. It was the best experience I've had. We didn't do like a ton of basketball there. It was more training than games. We expected more games, but like to be with a group of people that you're close with and that you know, oh my gosh, one of the best.
You guys build your relationship kind of nice on that Portugal trip?
Oh, it was so fun. We trained in the morning, and then we would go do like a workout as a team after, whether it be like on the beach or on the stairs. We stayed like down in this touristy area. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was the best experience. You roomed with one other person on the team, so everyone kind of picked someone like they weren't overly close with, and that's where I gained like one of my strongest relationships with my other teammate that I have now. Like we roomed together in Portugal. We weren't overly close, but we were close enough, and now we're like best friends on the team.
I'm telling you, the hotel rooms, they get you. Like I remember on our away trips, coach puts you with a random person, and that's where you're like, I don't know who this person is. You meet them, you realize they're actually not a bad guy, you know?
Yeah, you get to know people. It's nice when you switch it up every here and then, and you get to know someone that you didn't think you'd have stuff in common with. So that was one of the best experiences I had.
Was that the only preseason trip you've had so far in at Algoma?
That was like our biggest one. Usually our preseason games are just like close by. Like we'll go to like
a big one that you guys had.
Yeah, we did some fundraising.
How long was it? How long was the trip?
10 days. Oh, wow. And then so we left for Portugal for 10 days, and then the day after we got back, so we got back at like midnight, then that day, so at like noon or whatever, we went to Thunder Bay for a tournament. So it was like a 15 day stretch of just like training on the road, across the world. Now we're 8 hours away, so it was a very busy time, and it was hard with school. It was midterm season when we went, so a lot of people were switching around midterms, being like, hey, listen, like we're going to Portugal, and had to get your midterms early. People were writing in Portugal, 6 hour time difference, so it's like, well, I don't know what time I need to write it now, submitting papers, and it was a lot. It was busy, but
I mean that sounds nice. For sure, Coach Sam, if you're watching this, I'd love to go to
Portugal somewhere. Something. You know what I mean?
Would take us through a day in Portugal?
So basically, Portugal, we would wake up around 8 or 9 in the morning, and we would go to the gym. The gym was about like a 5-minute walk, like just downtown. Go to the gym, and we'd do about a 2-hour practice. Once practice was done, we'd walk back to where we were staying, drop your stuff off, immediate workout. So whether it be like the hill we were staying on, the stairs by the beach, or like a beach workout, or we'd do like a run downtown. So like it was practice, workout, and then you were usually on your own for like lunch. So you and your roommate, you and some teammates, you go get lunch and everything. The timing there was really weird. Like they eat super late. I didn't know this. So like lunch is at like 4 p.m. Dinner's at like 9 or 10 p.m. So we didn't really realize. So we'd be training from 8:30 or 9 till like 1 or 2. So you're like, your whole morning's training, eat, hang out, maybe team bonding. I know a lot of times we did like, some days we'd go do like hike a mountain, or we would go to like touristy places. We got on a boat, we went whale watching, so it's nice to get those experiences.
You still got, like, to do tourist attractions and stuff like that.
Yeah, did those experiences, and then we'd try and do team dinners like every other day. Got to go have some fun some nights, which was nice. Coach said, hey, this night's up to you guys. That was nice to like get together as a team, do whatever we wanted together. But basketball was morning, and we only ended up doing one game there. Very good game for us, won by about 50, so that was a nice game. But it was at like 10 o'clock at night, because that's when they play.
Oh, okay.
We didn't realize, so we were like out for food at like 8 p.m. and the coach from the other team's like, so you guys coming to the game? We're like, when? He goes, 10? We were like, sure. So we thought it was like a scrimmage. So we're like, okay, it's just a scrimmage. Everyone just wear like a shirt and shorts, whatever. And the other team shows up in uniforms, and there's refs. And we're like, oh my god, this is a real game. Like, we didn't realize because it was at 10 o'clock at night. So 2 of our girls that weren't playing run back to where we're staying, go in everyone's rooms, grab their uniforms, run back. Game starts late because no one has their uniforms. The refs are like, who are these people? Like, why are they not prepared? But a game at 10 o'clock is usually like a little run, and then you go home. Like, I'm sure it'd be the same for soccer. So we all get changed, we play the game, and then it was nice. It was like midnight when the game ended. And our coach was like, well, let's go for food again. So we went back to this place. We all got brownies and food. It was crazy because we were like, who plays at 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, because usually you're like, well, here in the OUA, it's like you play like, well, we play at like maybe 2 o'clock. 4
yeah,
o'clock.
like our latest game is 6 here, and our men's team is 8. So to play at 10, like say when the men's team finishes here, it was so weird, and they were just like up and ready to go at 10 o'clock at night. It was different.
Then you came back, you had to play a tournament in Thunder Bay.
Yeah. So I flew from Portugal to Toronto, and then I flew straight to Thunder Bay because my family's from there. So I stayed with them for a night. The people who didn't have that luxury had to fly back here and then drive to Thunder Bay the next day. So it was a little hectic, but then we had 3 games in Thunder Bay. So it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we had games. And then we drove back after our game Sunday here. And then Coach gave us a couple of days off, which was much needed.
So with all this like experience you've had and stuff, obviously this year, not a lot of senior players, you know, that I've seen a lot of youth on your team, a lot of rookies coming in. How's that been so far?
It's different compared to like when I came, because when I came I had a lot of people to look up to, and now I'm in the position where they're looking up to me. They're only a couple years younger than I am. Like I had people that were like 4 or 5 years older than me. I'm only 3 years older than some of these people, and it's a different environment for sure. It's a lot of learning. It's a lot of grasping concepts, because I know for myself, going from high school to university, huge difference. The pace of the game, the concepts, the things you're learning, like the tiny little details that you didn't think mattered, they matter here. So to have 75% of your team not have that mindset is like a huge learning curve for everybody. Coaches, vets, like everyone. So it's nice that we can help them out and do it together, but it's a lot of work sometimes. Especially
when half your roster is just like first years. Cause how many do you guys have enough players to put a starting lineup with vets? Or
we have 5 vets.
You have 5 vets.
Like 5 true seniors. And then even our rookies that came in last year.
Well, they couldn't play.
They couldn't play. So it's technically their first year playing in the OUA, even though it's their second year in Algoma. So technically they're rookies too, to the league itself. So that's huge.
Do you think you have to take on that sort of like leader role? Like, do you think you had to take that on? Like very fast. Did you expect to take on that leader role? I
expected not as big of a role that I did take on, because we do have other vets too, but I have been approached by rookies saying like, hey, like, we really appreciate the way how hard you work and the way you help us out. And I said, like, I'm always here. I've been in your position before, so I want to help you, but I didn't think I would be doing it as much, because there's 5 of us.
There's how many, like what? And there's 8 or 10 rookies.
Yeah, we have about, I think 9 or 10 people that are.
Do you get frustrated sometimes?
I try not to. I try and bring good energy all the time. I know, like, it can get frustrating with a lot of young players, so I just want to make sure everyone's doing okay, and especially outside of basketball, it can be very stressful. A lot of people bring that stress home, so I just want to make sure, like, you come to practice, you're focused, and anything else we can talk about on the side, which a lot of them have been really good at, which is nice.
Because I know for the soccer team, I think our whole roster's, like, all of us are first years, and then we have, like, 4 vets maybe.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, we have brought stress to them. I know for a fact, like, as a first year, we've brought them a little bit of stress. I know, some days are like, wow, these guys are just out of control sometimes. But there's some days, well, like, not some days, but as throughout the year kind of went on, I think some of us have, like, matured a little bit faster, like, looking up to them. But have you sort of, obviously your season just kind of started, but your preseason has been from, like, August, September?
Yeah.
And your season's all the way to March. Have you seen sort of like a maturity
tons
increase?
Tons. They have grown so much. Even from preseason, you could tell, like, people were nervous, and I get it. I'm nervous every year. We start a new year. It's fresh. You don't know what's coming. So I get nervous as a vet too, but as time goes on, you see people getting more comfortable, trying new things, and asking questions was a huge one. Everyone was kind of scared at first. Once you see people starting to open up, it really shows, like, okay, we've grown. We can trust each other. We can play as a group, and I feel like that's applied in practices and in games, even though we haven't had the best record this year so far. New Year's...
What did you really do? Like, for first years too, you kind of, you don't have a lot of vets, so...
Exactly, so it's... And you have to really, like, it's a lot of pressure on them for, like, we have 5 vets. They can't play 40 minutes. Like, it's just... You'll burn out. So, like, rookies do need to step up, and I find, like, a lot of ours have.
Especially, like, the practice you guys, like, I remember one time I seen you come hour and a half early. Like, you went an hour and a half early to practice, and then you have, like, a 2-hour practice after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely tiring for sure, because I'm going to practice 30 minutes before, you know what I mean?
I asked some of the soccer guys, it was just, like, it's so different to hear from a different sport. Like, we warm up 15 minutes before practice, but you have to be on court at least 30 minutes before practice, touch a ball before you even start practice. But some people work out before then, some people go for a run before that, some people work out after practice, so a 2-hour practice turns into, like, a 3 or 4 hour, like, time frame of being there. Yeah,
because I'm going to the gym, going to go work out. I'm like, oh, basketball team, the girls are working hard. I leave. Still, the practice hasn't even started. It hasn't even started. Like, wow, you guys are training hard. But then obviously, because it's only 5 of you, it's like, at the start, you think it was hard at the start to just, like, get these guys on the same kind of schedule as you guys?
Yeah, for sure. I know, especially when I came in, it was like, it's a lot to balance. Like, we have weights, we have practice, you have individual workouts, and you still need to do stuff on your own time. Never mind you have to study and, like, go to school. So I think getting the first month, I think everyone struggled, the vets too, because with COVID, it was totally different. Like, last year...
Were you here during COVID?
I was. And I was here in the summertime, too. So I didn't go home very often. So it was like, I was here the whole time. People in and out, people coming for a couple of weeks, people going, people leaving, stuff like that. So the first month where it was like, okay, we're back in it. We are on routine. Some of the vets forgot how it even was, because it was a whole year of not being on the road and playing games. I didn't play a basketball game against another team for over a year because of COVID. We didn't play for
during that COVID, did you still, go to the GLC and stuff to work out and stuff, or did you kind of find it like you kind of lost motivation or something or anything?
I think COVID was the best thing that could have happened to me as an individual.
Really?
Very weird to, like, hear, but COVID was a peak for my motivation, which was weird, but I said, like, I don't want to lose everything I had, because I know it'll be my last year after, so I worked on my fitness a ton. Wasn't in the best shape, wasn't in the worst shape, had a lot of room to improve. Came back, fittest I've ever been. I stayed the summer to train with my coaches and some of, like, our best players, because they stayed the summer. So I was like, well, I want to get better too. Yeah. So I took COVID as, like, an opportunity rather than, like, a setback in, like, what I wanted to do. I took summer courses, got ahead in my studies. So COVID, I had a lot of time, I found, to do those things. So that's, like, the way I looked at it. I know other people kind of
that's good to hear. You made it a huge positive, because I don't know if I would have done that, I'll be honest with you, because COVID, like, that first year COVID, was kind of a bit lazy, and then when I got recruited to Algoma, I was like, oh, I gotta start putting in work now, you know what I mean? And, well, honestly, that's good to hear, but do you think, with like, do you think like some of these were you contacting some of the girls before they came in and tell them like what was expected and stuff like that?
Yeah, some of them reached out to me. I think my coach told them to reach out to me and said, hey, she's a vet, she's staying this summer, maybe reach out. So I did get in contact with some. I know one of the rookies this year that I'm very close with, we would FaceTime. She's like, I'm moving away for the first time. Like, asked my experience before she even came here. So it was nice to get in touch with her. And I know coach even like asked of me, he said, hey, do you mind sending out a message, checking in on everyone? I didn't mind at all because COVID hits everyone different. I don't know how everyone was doing. And some of our girls aren't in Ontario. Like, they're not from here. I don't know how COVID was in like BC, Alberta, Manitoba. I didn't know. So I was like, how's COVID there? Some girls were like, oh, I'm in high school, but I don't go to school because of COVID. So I'm like, oh, so you're just at home all day. Like,
I can just, let me tell you, at home it's like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, like I never had that experience in high school because I was in high school when COVID wasn't a thing. So like people missing out on like big high school, like their grad, their prom, they were like, I
missed out on my grad and prom. That was
like, that's a huge milestone that you just miss out on. So it was, I wanted to make sure, I was like, are you okay? Like, how do you feel about leaving? And like, it's a totally different lifestyle here. Like, COVID was never too bad in the Sioux. So it felt almost normal here. But I know some places were like completely shut down. So it's like, when you come here, like, you're going to school.
So you'd say during COVID, like, your mental health was pretty decent and pretty good?
I would say, yeah. My sister actually wasn't here this past summer. She moved away for a couple months. So I had my best friend here, and I was in, like, a good environment. I was training how I wanted to, getting better, and, like, seeing myself get better. So I found that was very helpful. I'd had opportunities to, like, leave, go home, visit my family if I wanted to. So that was really helpful, and even, like, my coaches were very approachable in the summer. I was able to talk to them if I needed something, or, hey, I need a day to just, like, reflect and take a break. And they were totally okay with it because COVID hits everyone differently, and some people hit very hard.
Yeah, that's true. But with that, because especially last year, you know, basketball, COVID, schoolwork, even just missing out on the season, a lot of people are probably, like, their mental health probably wasn't even there. But with COVID, well, before COVID, with basketball, school, and practice and all that type of stuff, do you think it was, like, at the start very, like, stressful and, like, you were kind of overwhelmed?
Yeah, it was a lot to take in. It was very hard to, like, balance and find ways. But I know, like, especially with Algoma, they're very open to giving help and resources. And, like, you're never alone. And especially being part of a team, it was really nice to, like, you get close with that select few teammates that you consider your really good friends. You have people to talk to. There's always people around. And since Algoma's so small...
I was going to say, that's the one thing, like, that's really good about Algoma.
Yeah.
That you won't get in a big university. Like, I'm out here talking to my professors, and, like, they know my name.
Yeah, you're not just a number in the class to them. Like, they know your name. Oh, you're an athlete? Okay, cool. Now they know you're an athlete. Oh, you're friends with, like, this person. Are they an athlete? And they get to know you guys. So it's really nice that there's so many people you know and you can talk to here. So that was really helpful for me. I don't think I ever struggled throughout university in that area, but, like, obviously there's ups and downs. I know exam time gets, like, even more stressful, especially with us. Like, we practice through exams. Yeah, you
practice through it,
so it becomes stressful for us. I know, like, soccer does training, and wrestling, they do training, so it's very hard to, like, balance. Well, I need to study. Exams aren't worth 10%.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You really have to focus on, oh my gosh, like, the exam I wrote the other day, 40% of my grade.
That's true.
On 100 questions.
Would you say that, like, did you have people around you that kind of, like, was like, okay, this is a lot on my plate, and, like, because I know for like me, it was like I was overwhelmed with some of the work, but then, like, I realized, like, you got to do it day by day and kind of just, like, break it down.
Yeah.
And then, like, the days that did kind of feel overwhelmed, like, for me, I kind of, like, just took, like, a break, like a day break.
Sure.
So, like, do you have any friends that had to deal with that, or, like, any I'd say advice, like, for getting overwhelmed with all the schoolwork and, like, sports and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, I would honestly say, especially as a rookie, like, reach out to the vets. I know, like, as a vet, when rookies approach me, I give them the honest truth. Sometimes it's not what they want to hear, but when they're like, oh, I didn't get in for a workout today because I was working on my essay, I said, that's okay. You can take a break. It's completely fine to take a break, but just make sure you get it in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, you want that essay done, you want it done well. Because, like everyone says, you're a student athlete, your studies will come before your sport. It's just how it goes. And I know you want to train, you want to get better, and you want to be the best, but at the same time, like, your education is so important. You need to, if you need a break, no one's going to get mad at you for taking a breather or taking a night off. Just make sure you, like, get it back tomorrow. Kind of thing.
For sure, because I think that's important with some of the vets too, like being that leader. And I know, like, on the soccer team, I'm sure on the basketball team, having that vet to kind of like give you that wake up call and like kind of like help you. I'm like, okay, these guys actually understand what I'm going through, and like it makes you feel a lot more comfortable, and, like, open to talk to them about. So I mean, that's honestly good to hear. But I want to bring it back. A couple of years ago, saw you guys beat this U Ottawa team. 66 to 65. I've heard all about it from my coach. I've heard it from other vets. They're telling me that game was insane. So take us back. How was it experiencing like that game?
So that game was in my second year. Individually, not my best year at the school. Basketball wise, school wise, it's when I kind of picked myself up. We had probably one of our best teams that year. We had Thais, who's still here. We had Carly. She's doing her master's in Scotland right now and playing basketball there. She was one of our best players. We had a post player, Dion, from New Zealand. Like, she top scorer for us, 6 feet. Like, we had these such strong players, and that team, I felt, we had vets, we had rookies, we had experience, and we had some of the best chemistry on a team I've ever been on. We, on and off the court, we were a cohesive group. It wasn't these girls hang out, these girls hang out. It was we hung out as a team. And I feel like off the court that helped us. And I didn't have the minutes I expected that game. But being a bench player in the sense where you were picking people up, you were helping people out, your voice was heard by them. They hit a shot and they heard me. So it was still a contribution to that win, I found.
For sure, because I know, like, when you're on the field or on the court, and I think the best thing you can do if you're not on there, or even when you're on there, is just hear your teammates support.
Yeah,
It's crazy because when I'm on the field and I hear my teammates yell your name or this and that, or I'm yelling their name, even if you're losing, it just boosts the confidence so much, and like you don't even care about the score. It's kind of like these guys are supporting me. Like, I know we're losing, or no matter what, it still feels amazing.
Yeah, you have someone has your back, someone's helping you out, and it's like, if you miss a shot, I don't know a whole lot about soccer, but say you you pass it and your teammate doesn't get it or something like that, someone says, nice try, get it back.
I think that's good, especially for like your rookies too, because I know they're probably so scared to mess up, take shots, this and that. Yeah, for sure.
And I was, as a rookie, I didn't want to mess up. You don't want to jeopardize anything, but at the same time, you have a vet saying, you're good. Like,
take the shot.
Take it. Like, no one's getting mad at you if you take a good shot. Maybe if you're not taking the best shot, you're like, hey, maybe, like, look for this person or whatever it may be, but, like, they're taking a good shot. You say, that's a good shot. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it didn't go in, but now go get a steal on defense. And do it again. So it's kind of just like picking each other up, and especially in the U Ottawa game, that's what we did from start to finish, because we were in it and we won it, and it was just like Carly, her best game, Dion, one of her best games, and like people stepped up, and it was.
I believe like that was like, I think U Ottawa was like number 1 in their division. You guys were sitting a little bit at the bottom, but like I saw a picture and I seen the reaction of like the men's basketball team.
It was crazy.
And they were in disbelief that actually happened. How were the scenes after when you guys won?
The locker room after that was wild. Like, so loud, so crazy. And so how it works is we're in the locker room and coaches come in after, so we can kind of talk as a team first. So every time the coaches walk in, we always clap it in, whatever. I've never seen my coach clap so loud, smile so big, cheer so loud. He's like, we did that. And it wasn't just the coaches. It was you guys on the court. And then one of us stepped up and said, no, we're a team. You coached us through that game. We worked hard. We played through that game. So as a group, players and coaches, fans included, we won. And it was huge for us. Like, the locker room was so loud, crazy. And coach was like, we deserved every minute, every point, everything in that game.
Do you think it was that one of those games where, like, you know, if you're losing a lot or even if like things aren't clicking, was that the game where like you guys kind of click? Because I know like there's just so many times where you're figuring out, okay, this isn't working. You know, what do we have to do? And it's frustrating. You think that was a game where it's like everything just clicked? Almost?
Yeah, it was like that was the first game I think that we were like we played as a group from the first minute to the last. I feel like this year we've been struggling with playing a solid 40 minutes. We'll have a solid 20, solid 30, but 40 minutes is huge.
I can relate to that very heavily.
90 minutes.
90 minutes.
The game's 90 minutes. It's not 45.
45 minutes. We'll be on the other guys.
Right.
And they're like, whoa, who's this Algoma team? These guys are giving us pressure. And then the game 6-0. We're like, wow, what just happened? You know?
Like you have to play the full game, and I feel like this year that's what we're struggling with. We have a good 30, good 20, good 25, but we usually one quarter for us kills us, and that game was such a big eye opener. It's like when you play start to finish, like you will get the outcome you're hoping for. So we can't score single digits in a quarter. That's what's happening. Then we lose. So you need to play every quarter. Like, yeah, your second quarter is the best. Okay, let's make our third quarter even better. Yeah. So that's like the mentality we need to have, especially in the new year, I think.
Yeah.
But
you think that was like probably one of the best games you ever like experienced in Algoma?
For sure. Like the hype, the chemistry, coaching, player, everything. In my second year, probably. I think every year has like its key game, but throughout the whole course, that game was one of the best. What do you think was your?
Well, obviously you say you didn't play too much in your second year. What do you think was like the best game individually that you played?
I would say probably in my first year. I got more minutes in my first year than I thought I would. Coach said to me, you really stepped up and you came in areas when we needed you to. I think it was probably when we went to North Bay. We went to Nipissing. It was funny when a girl I grew up playing with, she played there, so I got to like see a friend. My family came. It was just like a game where coach put me in where he needed me, and I executed what he needed me to do. It was probably my best game, and still a couple more this year, so maybe that'll change. But
do you think you're still improving, or do you think
for sure?
You think this is the year where like you're starting to, because obviously you're COVID. From what it sounds like, you were hustling, you were grinding.
Yeah.
I think this year's the year where it's kind of like. Not as a team you guys are clicking, but individually you think like I'm actually doing well.
I feel like I gained a lot of confidence from training so hard in my first year. Like you're young, you want to get the first year experience, but as time went on, you're like, okay, kick it into gear, get going. So even this year, I found like my confidence. I found it. Like I was lacking it in my first 2 years. So COVID happened. I said, I have a really big opportunity to get better. Did that. I just like really pushed myself, and this year, every game, coach puts me in. He expects something from me, and I try to execute it. And I feel like I can do that. My first year, I was very timid.
Do you think it's also with like I'm not too sure, but you think it's also like the fans? Because obviously you guys don't have any fans.
Yeah, it's hard with nobody watching.
Do you think having fans kind of helped you, or do you think with no fans, no one's watching, it's not that too? Because for me, it's like I love it when fans are out there.
Right.
Just the hype they bring and everything. Even like this year, like we didn't have fans at the start, but like towards the end, like that last game against Laurentian, obviously I missed it, but like people came out and stuff, and it was crazy.
It's a different environment with people there, for sure.
So you think it definitely helped motivate your game, or?
Yeah, I mean, not having people there sucks. Yeah. My sister ended up stop playing, so I thought she would be in the stands, but she can't right now. So it's also hard to not have like a supporter that you want there. Yeah. So I feel like maybe in the new year when we have fans, it'll bring the energy up. We also didn't have a lot of home games in the first half, so we didn't have fans here. But when we were at like in London, it was packed with people because they could have fans. Obviously, everyone's cheering for Western, but it was such a different environment to have, like, noise and cheering and, like, people, you can hear your name from the odd person. Like, you never know. So I hope in the new year, fans will, like, kind of bring up our energy, because it's a lot for the bench to bring all the energy.
That's true.
You get tired. When you come off a shift and you can't catch your breath, it's hard to cheer for everybody, so it's nice to get some more energy. So hopefully like other athletes at the school and people in the community will come out and watch us.
I wish the athletes could come out. I never understood why like the soccer guys, girls, or even curling, wrestling can't come and like support you guys, because we're all representing each other. We're all representing Algoma.
Exactly. You want to support each other, and kind of lift everyone up. Even if you're not having the best game, like, I know some of the soccer players just can, like, work our games a little bit and they, like, help us out. So I know in the last game, 2 of the guys on your team, I hit a shot and all I heard was them cheering for me. They're the only people in the building that could cheer, but I heard them and they said my name.